This story begins in the Pride Lands where Simba now has a daughter named Kiara. Simba is happily playing with her when he senses, through a scent, that Nala might be in trouble. He takes Kiara to her cave and tells her that he will go rescue Nala and return by evening. Kiara, being small, feels scared, but Simba reassures her by saying that Timon and Pumbaa are there to take care of her. With that, he heads off. As evening approaches, dark clouds fill the sky and it starts to rain. Kiara, seeing rain for the first time, gets scared. Since lions usually fear water, she's no exception, and without her mom and dad, she feels even more frightened. Just then, Rafiki enters the cave. Kiara is very happy to see him because she loves her Rafiki uncle. She tells him she's afraid of the rain, and Rafiki responds that the lion's ancestors too were once afraid of water. But they overcame that fear, and that's how they became brave lions. Kiara says that she could never be as brave as her father, Simba, or her grandfather, Mufasa. Hearing this, Rafiki decides to tell her a story about a young lion who was once just like her. This is the story of Mufasa. Mufasa was born in a dry, barren land with his father, Ati, and mother, Uru, where no rain had fallen for years. His parents would tell him stories about a place full of lush greenery and constant water, a paradise for animals called Mallei. They told him that this place lay toward the sun and was his true destination. One day, while playing with his parents, Mufasa felt a drop of water fall from the sky, followed by thick clouds. The animals celebrated, and Mufasa, along with his parents, enjoyed the rain. But soon the rain became torrential, and the dry riverbed began to flood. Adi jumped into the water to save Mufasa, but the strong current swept him away, and Mufasa was carried far into another lion kingdom. When Mufasa regained consciousness, he found himself floating on a piece of wood, and a lion cub of his age appeared. His name was Taka, and he warned Mufasa to get out of the water because there were crocodiles. Mufasa swam with all his strength, but two baby crocodiles started chasing him. Just as Mufasa reached the shore, the crocodiles caught up, but Taka grabbed him by the paw and pulled him to safety. Taka had saved Mufasa's life. Soon Taka's mother, Isha, arrived, scolding Taka for coming so far from home alone. She reminded him that he was of royal blood and his life was valuable. Taka, however, explained that he had saved a lion's life. Isha, realizing the situation, softened and took Mufasa to meet her husband, Ubasi, the ruler of the kingdom. Upon seeing Mufasa, Ubasi was angry that Isha had brought a stray lion into their kingdom. But Isha argued that Mufasa needed a home and that they should take him in. Ubasi, after some thought, agreed, but on one condition. Taka and Mufasa would race, and if Mufasa won, he could stay in their kingdom. Taka and Mufasa race each other. Since Mufasa is already tired, he falls behind, but Taka, who has grown fond of Mufasa, lets him win. Taka has always wanted a brother, and Mufasa reminds him of that. When the race ends, Ubasi feels a little disappointed that, despite being of royal blood, Taka lost to Mufasa. However, he reluctantly agrees to keep Mufasa in his kingdom. He tells Mufasa that he will stay in the female lion's den, meaning he cannot stay in the main den with the males. Over time, the friendship between Taka and Mufasa deepens, and Mufasa's bond with Isha, Taka's mother, also grows stronger. Isha begins to like Mufasa more than Taka because Mufasa spends a lot of time with her, learning hunting techniques. Meanwhile, Ubasi, the lazy Lion King, spends most of his time sleeping. Taka and Mufasa grow up playing together, and Mufasa proves to be different from other lions. His senses are exceptionally sharp. He can detect the scent of deer from a great distance and even predict the direction of the wind accurately. One day when Isha takes Mufasa hunting, they encounter a group of intruding lions who are pale white in color. Isha tells Mufasa to crouch down so they can hide in the bushes. Taka, watching from a distance, also hides. But soon the white lions spot Mufasa and Isha and attack them. Mufasa bravely fights back against the attackers, but Taka, though wanting to help, lacks the courage to leave the bushes. However, seeing Mufasa's bravery inspires Taka, and he rushes out to help. In the process, he manages to kill one of the white lions, and the others flee in fear. Isha is slightly injured but is otherwise safe. The three of them then head back to Ubasi, where night has already fallen. Ubasi, upon seeing Isha's injury, asks how it happened. Isha explains that they were attacked by the white lions, and if it weren't for Mufasa, she would have died. Ubasi thanks Mufasa, but Mufasa warns him that the white lions will likely return the next morning for revenge. Ubasi, skeptical, asks how Mufasa can be so sure. Mufasa suggests sending a scout to find out. Ubasi immediately sends Chika, a messenger, to the white lion's lair. Chika overhears the white lions telling their leader, King Kiros, that the lion Mufasa killed was his son. Kiros, furious, swears revenge on Mufasa for killing his son, and plans to not only kill Mufasa, but also Taka, the heir to Ubasi's kingdom. Upon hearing this, Chika returns to Ubasi and confirms that Mufasa was right. The White Lions would return by morning to kill both Mufasa and Taka. Ubasi and Isha are deeply concerned. They decide to send Mufasa and Taka away to Mallei, the safe haven, immediately. Though both lions hesitate at first, they ultimately agree to follow Ubasi and Isha's advice, knowing it's the only way to save their lives. From there, they head towards Mallei. As morning arrives, Kiros and his army reach Ubasi's kingdom in search of Mufasa and Taka. Ubasi tells Kiros that he doesn't want a battle, as lions follow certain rules and one cannot just enter another lion's kingdom. But Kiros, disregarding all rules and with his army, begins attacking and killing all the lions in the area. Meanwhile, Mufasa and Taka are still following the sunlight towards Mallei. Along the way, they often wonder what Kiros might have done to their families. Suddenly, they notice all the birds flying away from the trees, and a deep silence falls over the jungle. Mufasa understands that Kiros and his army have followed them here. The two lions attempt to escape, but they come across a waterfall with a steep drop. Taka urges Mufasa to jump, but Mufasa hesitates, fearing the height. He tells Taka that jumping from such a height could kill them, but they have no other choice. They must leap into the water below. Barely escaping, they continue their journey, but Kiros, standing above the waterfall, orders his army to find them. He swears he won't let them go. Mufasa and Taka keep moving forward, but night falls and someone else has been quietly following them for some time. Mufasa notices this and discovers that it's a lioness named Sarabi, who was once a princess from a royal family and had gotten lost in the jungle. She is accompanied by her bodyguard, Jaju. These four animals, now united, form a stronger group. As they travel, they come across a tree where a large group of monkeys lives. These monkeys are all yelling at one particular monkey who is different from the rest. This monkey has some spiritual powers, which cause cheetahs and leopards to often climb the tree to hunt the monkeys. The monkeys decide to exile this monkey, and the monkey willingly agrees. His name is Rafiki. Later that night, as they continue their journey, they meet Rafiki, and everyone is surprised because he looks different from all the other monkeys. They ask him if he can guide them to Mallei, and Rafiki, using his spiritual powers, tells them they are on the right path. Since Rafiki is now free, he joins their group to help them reach Mallei, which, as I mentioned before, is a paradise for animals. The next day, as they travel through a desolate area, Taka tells Mufasa that he has fallen in love with Sarabi. He asks Mufasa for advice on how to express his feelings to her. Mufasa suggests he tells Sarabi that she smells like beautiful flowers. Taka asks Mufasa how he knows that, and Mufasa replies that his sense of smell is much sharper than other lions. Taka, encouraged by Mufasa's words, goes up to Sarabi and tells her about her wonderful scent. Sarabi is impressed that Taka noticed this, and the two begin talking and walking together. But then, they are shocked to see that Kiros and his army have tracked them down and are now right behind them. They are trapped. Just then, Rafiki spots a herd of elephants passing by. He quickly realizes that if they can disturb the elephants and scatter them, they might be able to escape. Rafiki sees a beehive and gets an idea. He grabs a stick, breaks the hive, and the elephants begin charging in all directions. Thanks to Rafiki's clever idea, Kiros and his army are unable to catch Mufasa and Taka. However, in the chaos, an elephant accidentally collides with Sarabi, knocking her unconscious. Mufasa, Taka, Jaju, and Rafiki hide beneath a shelter. When they see Sarabi unconscious, Mufasa is the only one who rushes out to save her. He carefully retrieves her from the midst of the stampeding elephants and brings her to safety. When the chaos settles and Sarabi regains consciousness, she asks who saved her. Mufasa answers that it was Taka because he knew Taka loved her. And perhaps, by hearing this, Sarabi might start to love Taka as well. Taka is both surprised and happy that Mufasa mentioned his name. Sarabi thanks Taka, and the group continues on their way toward Mallei. By the next morning, they arrive at the icy mountains, and Rafiki, using his spiritual powers, says that Mallei lies just beyond these mountains. They begin to climb through the snow-covered peaks, heading towards their destination. Meanwhile, Kiros and his army have also reached the mountains, following Mufasa's trail. Mufasa realizes that Kiros could easily track them by following the paw prints in the snow, so he asks Jaju to push the snow off the higher peaks, covering their tracks. Jaju does as instructed, and Mufasa's clever move works, hiding their trail from Kiros. That night, while they are traveling through the mountains, Sarabi suddenly remembers the day she was saved from the stampeding elephants. She turns to Mufasa and asks him if Taka really saved her or if it was him. Mufasa tells her that it was Taka, as he didn't want to risk Sarabi falling in love with him by mistake. However, as they say, women have a sixth sense, and Sarabi immediately understands the truth. She looks at Mufasa and tells him not to lie, saying that he was the one who saved her. Finally, Mufasa admits the truth, and Sarabi and Mufasa confess their love for each other. Taka, who had been watching from a distance, feels a surge of anger. He's furious when he sees that Mufasa has taken away the love he had hoped for. Consumed by rage, Taka decides to betray Mufasa. That same night, he secretly goes to Kiros and tells him that he wants to join his army, because now he too wants to kill Mufasa. Kiros welcomes Taka into his army with open arms and instructs him to leave paw prints wherever he goes the next day. Taka agrees and follows the orders. The next morning, when Taka meets Mufasa, Mufasa asks where he was the entire night. Taka lies, saying he was out hunting but found nothing. The group continues their journey and finally reaches Mallei, a lush and vibrant land where all the animals live happily. However, when Mufasa arrives, the other animals warn him to leave, explaining that Kiros is looking for him, and if he stays, it could endanger their lives. Mufasa reassures them that he hasn't left any traces, but just then, a loud roar is heard from behind. Mufasa turns around in shock and sees that Kiros has arrived in Mallei. Kiros taunts Mufasa, claiming he was able to follow Mufasa's trail here thanks to Taka, who had been leaving paw prints everywhere. Mufasa is in disbelief. He never thought Taka would betray him. But the truth is now clear. A battle ensues between Kiros and Mufasa, while the animals of Mallei fight against Kiros's army. Mufasa and Kiros fall into a ravine, where Kiros gains the upper hand. Taka watches helplessly and remembers his mother, Aisha's words, "You will have a chance to prove your courage." Just as Kiros is about to strike Mufasa, Taka steps in, taking the blow meant for Mufasa. A deep scar forms on his face from Kiros's strike. But together, Mufasa and Taka manage to subdue Kiros, drowning him in the water. A boulder then falls on Kiros, killing him. Mufasa becomes the new king of Mallei, as he saved everyone from Kiros. In this moment of victory, Mufasa is reunited with his mother, Aisha, who now sees him not as a child but as a grown leader. The other animals suggest that Mufasa should banish Taka from the kingdom, but Mufasa refuses. He tells them that as long as he is the king, Taka, now known as Scar, will remain in the kingdom. He also vows never to speak Scar's name again, and it is Scar who chooses to declare that from that day on, his name will be Scar, so that whenever anyone speaks it, they will remember his betrayal. As Mufasa tells the story, morning arrives and Kiara gains newfound courage, vowing not to fear the water anymore. She looks up and sees Simba and Nala returning. This time, they are not alone. They have with them their newborn son, and Kiara is overjoyed to meet him. That's it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.